I get the recordings. There we go. Good evening and welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening introduction to Lifewave. It's an introduction to a very special company and an amazing technology. And the star of the show is called X39. So we're going to talk about that tonight and do a short presentation, introduce you to our founder and chief science officer and amazing being. And then we bring on a special guest. Oh, by the way, I'm your co-host, Robin, along with Gregory, and we are here to share this short presentation. We do this especially for new people that are just starting to learn about Lifewave. And then it's your turn. So you can ask questions, share your story, but please do that in the Q&A section. And we have a special guest tonight, Dr. Stuart Freedenfeld, and he will be after Gregory's presentation and before your part. And we're going to get the show on the road. You ready, honey?
I'm ready. Let's go for it.
All right. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So please hold on, everyone. And we're going to talk about activating your stem cells. This is very exciting news and information. And it was a wake-up call for me. Maybe some of you have had the same realization. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. And I bet you many of you can relate to that. So I'd like to start out by asking you all a personal question and something to ponder throughout our short presentation here tonight. If anything were possible, what is one thing you'd choose to experience differently in your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? Think about that. What's one thing you'd choose to experience differently or better in your health or someone you love and care for? And what difference would that make for you or for them? And with that being said, I do want to make a note that our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, or diagnose any disease. They do, however, help our bodies get back into a more healthy, regenerative mode. And many times, wonderful things begin to happen when that happens. So with that being said, let's talk about the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate all damaged cells in every muscle, organ, gland, bone, tissue throughout our entire body. They're our repair crew, okay? Now, here's the problem. The older we get, the less stem cells we have. And by age 60, only a small percentage remain. And the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age, the slower we heal. So what about stem cell injections? You know, they become quite popular, but they're also quite expensive. You could spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, and, you know, they could be very painful, risky, controversial, and you know what? No guaranteed results. Well, that's where Lifewave comes in, and we've got some really good news for you because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's actually a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free, and it's a patented form of phototherapy, which uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve our stem cell activity. Now, this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, he's an incredible and genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. He's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our Lifewave phototherapy products, many of those double-blind placebo-controlled studies, and many more studies are always in the works. And that's because Lifewave is a very research science-oriented company. It's a 17-year-old technology company focused in health sciences. It was founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology David developed under a U.S. contract for the Navy SEALs to increase their strength, stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. Now, this technology turned out to be so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes around the world. We have corporate headquarters and laboratory and manufacturing diversified through California, Utah, and Ireland. And we're already doing global distribution over 75 countries from our 15 global distribution centers. Now, the word is certainly getting out on Lifewave, and our patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. And you know, the media has begun to notice, and you might too, if you look careful and see these auspicious little white patches on the bodies of your favorite athletes and Olympians, okay? So how does the amazing technology work? And what it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. And Lifewave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat. Then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate very targeted and beneficial biochemical responses within our body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis of our Lifewave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes within our body. For example, as we all know, when we go out in the sun, a specific frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D. We don't get a download of vitamin D from the sun, but we get a download of a frequency that tells our body to make vitamin D. And likewise, another frequency of light causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, Lifewave's patented technology is based on this same rock-solid, well-recognized scientific principle. So our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging and, more importantly, regenerative science. And 3 years ago, we released to the global market the Lifewave X39 stem cell activation patch, which truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. And we're actually hearing people call it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we're doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not been able to do. And that is X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our body's own stem cells while also altering gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So X39 certainly is a game changer, a true breakthrough, and our inventor, founder, and CEO, David Schmidt, says it's my greatest achievement yet, with an emphasis on yet, because David spends more time in the laboratory than he does in an office. So yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. So that's my little tee it up introduction, Robin, and I'll turn it back over to you to introduce our special guest doctor tonight.
Oh, well, thank you, Gregory. That was wonderful. And we had someone comment, I love your presentation, Gregory. We all love that presentation, and it is available for everyone in liveyoungerdownloads.com. I put that in the chat. So this evening, we get to welcome Dr. Stuart Freedenfeld. And Dr. Stuart is a gift to our community, a very, very special man. He graduated from medical school with honors in New Jersey, and then he went on to family practice and became an instructor, and he instructed at Rutgers, and then he made a shift, an expansion, I'll call it, into his medical career by really tapping into a lot of different resources. In 1988, he got into, Chinese herbalism, homeopathy, nutritional medicine, IV therapies, chelation, all kinds of things. And so he truly is here to really help people integrate the best of what's available from Western medicine and natural medicine to really help his patients get the best possible outcome in their health and well-being. And I'm really happy to welcome Dr. Stuart Freedenfeld with us this evening.
That's my cue to unmute.
There it is.
Hello
and I
there.
think everyone should know he's a championship soccer player. He won the championship yesterday. Yes?
Well, I had some teammates to help me.
Well, it's a team sport. Life is a team sport. But
Indeed.
That must have been really good. Really good. And he's my favorite soccer player because he plays with a lot of youngsters. So, Dr. Stuart, we love having you on, and we love hearing, why is it with your amazing background that you chose to actually get involved in Lifewave? what interested you to, go deeper and check out more and start using it yourself and sharing it?
Yeah, it wasn't really to get involved in Lifewave per se. It was an interest in this unique technology, these patches that was introduced to me by a colleague, a friend that from the lecture circuit. And she was getting great results and suggested I give it a try. And with due diligence, sure, I'll give it a try. We'll see. And with the open-minded skepticism that I always promote, I just found them to be remarkably effective for me. So I started to experiment with all the different patches that were available, and to see what kind of results I would get, and some close friends and significant others to share, and just started to see what these patches can do for us with really good results.
I love it. Okay, so now let's jump into X39. Gregory did a nice introduction on what it is. Who is this for, this technology and this particular patch X39 that activates your own younger stem cells and oh so much more? And who isn't it for?
So I think most people think about, whether it's supplements or nutrition, whatever, because they have some ailment, something that they want to work on. And X39 is certainly helpful in a wide array of situations where we're already sick. But I like to think of something like this more as I hate to use the fountain of youth terminology, but really something that can help you to maintain a healthy state throughout your life. And it truly seems to have that kind of a benefit. Unfortunately, people don't notice when they just stay healthy. They notice when they get sick and degenerative, and things start to bother them. And then we're swimming upstream to fix those problems. And X39 helps that. But it also help people just to stay healthy and never realize that if they were not using it, they would have been getting decrepit.
Okay, so it's something that a lot of people can use. And what are the ideal circumstances to get the maximum benefit from usage of X39?
If you want to get the maximum benefit from any kind of supplement or support, nutrition, exercise, it really is to put everything together, to have a healthy diet, not eating polluted foods, having as clean an air as we can find, clean water and adequate amounts of fluid hydration, a healthy mind, a healthy spirit, just to have an overall approach to health so that we are not swimming upstream quite so much. And I'm looking at you, Robin, and you've got this beam of light hitting you in your right eye on my camera. Are you blinding on that one side? Well, you're gonna have the CIA come at you and make you talk. Now it's on your teeth. That's better.
Sorry for the distraction. So what Dr. Stewart just said, I hope everyone really heard. Health is it has many, many dimensions to it, and we've got to do our part and in our lifestyle. And David Schmidt talks about that all the time with nutrition and sleep and rest and exercise and hydration. All those things are really, really important. Gregory's going to go fix the light so it's not so distracting. And using the patches regularly, and you said hydrating is really important. Thank you, honey. She's gonna, there we go. That's the one that did it. Okay, things look better now.
Yes.
Tech support, I love it. I guess I should put that shade down. So, and how long do you wear the patches, and are they reusable? What's the situation on that?
So I put mine on first thing in the morning. I'm an early riser, but I put them on around 6, so I'm off and up for a while. And I take them off when I brush my teeth at night, which is closer to 10:30. So I wear them longer than as generally recommended, just because that's when I remember. But classically, we want to use them for 12 hours. I think it seems to me that they're fine if you wear them for 14, 15 hours. Still get the same results. Earlier on, I used to share them with Patricia. So one of us would wear it for 12 hours and then switch over. The other one would wear it for 12 hours. And when I did that, I had great results. But when Pat did, when I used it first and then gave it to her second, some of the benefit that she was seeing disappeared after a while. So we switched back. We decided to both take our own patches and wear our 12 hours each.
Okay, so the patches are to be worn 12 hours on and 12 hours off, and then you put a fresh patch on the next day. And the body does need a little break from the signal. And like Dr. Stewart said, it's not an exact science, exactly 12 hours, because we're human. And
if you want to get the most from a spring, well, you need to unload the spring periodically. You need to let the rubber band go. If you keep it stretched all the time, you're always stimulating the body. It loses the stimulation. It loses the signal. So give it a break and let it recharge its batteries.
Okay, well, good. And how, there's so many different benefits people can get from this technology. How long can people expect to notice something, anything?
How long?
How long will it take?
I'm hoping the rest of my life I notice it.
No, but when someone puts a patch on, how long before they notice that there's a benefit to
Very
that?
interestingly, I think of myself as a very rapid responder. And I'm not usually a rapid responder to most things that I've tried over my 40, 50 years of experimenting. But I had very rapid responses with the patches. As far as pain relief is the easiest thing to identify. And chronically, just things like, I've always had severe arthritis in my neck. It's horrible on x-ray, severe arthritis with 5 levels of spinal stenosis. I don't have pain anymore. I just don't even bother with it. It's just so much different than it was. And this has been a couple of years. But the more acute pain, for me, it went away in 5-10 minutes. Other people, it might be 2 or 3 days, or depending on the situation, it might be 2 or 3 months. But these are things that have a progressive additive effect. So if you want to give it a try, commit to doing 2 or 3 months. Give your body a chance to see what it can do, and be patient. It's exciting when you get the rapid results, but don't get frustrated if you don't.
Okay, I hope everybody heard what he said. There are some people that they notice it like right away. We know it's working as soon as it's within 3 inches of your body, but that doesn't mean you're noticing what you want to notice. But how long do you recommend people? You said several months. Give it a try if they're gonna, start
at least 2 or 3. Commit to 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. Yeah, it's really important, because whatever condition you have did not happen overnight. And so to expect it to totally transform overnight isn't very
well, chronic conditions, but the acute conditions actually typically respond quicker. So the more recent trauma, I find the pain will get better quicker. The chronic trauma will take longer. And then sometimes we'll want to add things like something to remove toxicants from the trauma area or decrease inflammation. So adding a patch like glutathione or Eon in more chronic situations has been very helpful.
Okay. So are there any negative side effects, contraindications that people should be aware of?
Oh, the only negative I find with it is they're not cheap. You do need to commit some of the family budget to your health, but as far as real medical negatives, no. I think sometimes people will have more of an animating effect from it. They may have trouble sleeping, so we switch it around to daytime use or nighttime use, but nothing that has been of any consequence.
That's really valuable for people to know that you can wear them day or night. It's your choice, and you might want to experiment and see what works best for you. I know people that live in hot, humid environments prefer to wear some of the patches at night that other people wear during the day, because the way they don't stay on really well is when we sweat. And so
Found that, Robin. I play intense soccer, and I still have to peel these things off my hairy body at the end of a soccer match or at the end of a shower. They really stick well.
they do stick well, but they don't stick on sweaty bodies very well originally.
If you're already sweaty, they won't stick to something wet.
Yeah. And
You
so
put
you
them on
can wear
dry.
them swimming, you can wear them in the shower, and they will stay on, and it is quite amazing. So what else should people know about X39 before we open things up to answer some questions for people?
What else should they know?
Yes.
I don't know. You have to have more money in your bank account because you'll live longer and be healthier, and you'll have to have more money to go out and dancing and having a good time.
Get your dancing shoes out. And isn't that exciting? I mean, we have so many people that, I'd love to hear, before we open things up, like a few of your favorite stories that really surprised you when you started using the patches, or shared them with other people. What was really stood out for you? Like, really? It does that?
Well, okay. So if we just focus on the X39, I had really wonderful pain relief. Patricia has a burning pain in her feet that has tormented her for, I think, about 18 years now. In my holistic practice, we have tried innumerable things with temporary transient relief, but always she would just be devastated, and she lost the ability to go hiking and doing things that she loved to do. After about 5 months on X39, she started saying she's got about a 70% improvement in that chronic burning pain. So that was huge for her. She had a shoulder injury that from whitewater rafting that she was going to have surgery on. Started patching that, and after a few months, she's back playing tennis and no longer talking about surgery. So that's been pretty dramatic. She had an incredible increase in her stamina, where she would be limited in a biking excursion to an 8-mile trip. 4 miles, she was really looking for a bench to sit down on, get off the bike and rest for a while. And the first time we went biking after spinning on X39 for a few weeks, we did 16 miles without stopping. The first time she's ever done that. So, she just had very dramatic results as well.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. It's so wonderful that we can improve the quality of people's life,
Yeah.
so simply, safely, affordably. It's the cost of a cup of coffee a day, to transform our lives. It's pretty amazing. Huh?
Especially to get your hiking partner back.
Well, that is even more valuable. Yeah, and you can ride a distance without stopping. So isn't that, just enhances quality of life.
Here, and it's just nice to enjoy life and not have to, drag your body around like we used to see our grandparents do.
Right. It's a whole different world these days. We get to be fit and feeling great and flexible and strong and have great stamina for a long, 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 long time.
Yeah.
Okay, because you guys are not youngsters, correct?
I would consider myself a youngster.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's true. You
I still get insulted if they don't card me at a bar.
And you want to let people know those the year you were born, or how many years you got?
I am 73 3/4.
I love it. So, and how old's Patricia?
70.
I love it. I love it. Isn't that fabulous, everyone? It's like, it just gets better and better and better. I know that my life has dramatically changed the quality of my life and what I'm able to do. So let's open things up. If you have a question or a story to share, please put it in the Q&A. because that's where we read the questions from. And I'll start at the top because Mary Page was first. She came right in there at the top of the hour. And she said, would there be any benefit to allow a teen to wear Nirvana for 24 hours the first day? That's a fascinating question, Mary.
To what?
Wear Nirvana 24 hours for the very first day.
And what was that? To do what? To low?
To wear Nirvana.
Yeah, just to wear. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the life is experimenting. Enjoy yourself. See what happens. Let us know.
And the beauty is you can't hurt anything.
You can't. I mean, that these things are sending wavelengths that turn on your own signaling molecules. It's not chemical. We're not putting any drugs in, not even any supplements. It's just turning on your own body processes. And your body's pretty smart. If it doesn't want something, it doesn't need something, it's not going to do that. We're not going to push it into a hyperdrive. That's not the way it happens with signaling molecules. So you're not going to hurt yourself.
That's so wonderful for people to know. There is nothing going into the body. It's called non-transdermal. So nothing is entering the body. So you can't have any contraindications with anything. And it allows the body to do what the body's designed to do, which is come back to homeostasis. And that frequency of light is pretty miraculous. Okay, so why don't you give it a try, Mary, and let us know. I mean, you can't hurt anything. To do that. And sometimes it might take, typically we hear from people, it takes a few weeks for them to feel Nirvana, but then they love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, Jennifer Starr. One of my customers has a condition that is progressing that causes tremors, balance issues, and slowing down. Aside from X39, what do you recommend? She's on an extreme budget, so just starting with an economy of patch use would be helpful if possible.
I would, we can't name things, can we here?
Good job. Good remember.
So with a tremor that has this particular, like you were rolling a pill look to it, it's a specific type of neurologic problem that we have found glutathione is tremendously effective. I used to give it intravenously in my office, used to because I retired. And it was very effective. You'd give it to somebody, and somebody who could not walk at all was suddenly able to walk across the room and do quite well. Unfortunately, this would need to be given 2 or 3 times a week to maintain the benefit. I had one patient that required it daily. With the glutathione patch, we can achieve really good glutathione levels, just well within the range of what we would get, not at the moment of the intravenous injection, but over time, over the course of an hour or so afterwards, the levels of glutathione will peak with the IV injection, and then they come down. Well, we're getting those downside levels with the glutathione patch. So that should be very helpful for this kind of a neurologic problem, along with an ion patch. I think would be very helpful.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Stewart. Okay, Larry wants to know, would X39 have any effect on bone spurs?
It might. So bone spurs are really not the problem. What we see on the X-ray is a calcification in the tendon. And that calcification that has a pointiness to it called a spur is really laid down by the body to neutralize inflammation. Calcium is a buffer, and the body takes calcium out of your bones to buffer acid inflammation in the body. So the spur is a result of the problem. It's not the problem itself. So it's the inflammation. So you don't really need to reduce the X-ray vision. Who cares? What you want to do is decrease the inflammation. And there you would, again, the Eon patch is a great anti-inflammatory. Put that right over the area of the painful spur.
Beautiful. Good to, it's always good to get to the source of the problem instead of just put a Band-Aid on it. Literally.
Well, this is a Band-Aid.
It looks like one. It looks like a Band-Aid. It looks like it.
Expensive
with miracle powers to it. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful. Veronica wants to know, how does one patch for pain on the flank areas, both right and left? The flank areas. What is that?
The flank is, I'm going to stand up.
Yeah.
This is flank.
Okay.
I presume that's where this person is mentioning. So pain patches, I guess the ice wave patches on the left and right flank. And what is the question involved?
How do you patch for pain in the flank area?
Oh, so there's a technique of deciding where the best spot is. If you're using the ice wave, I put the tan patch right over the spot, right over the maximum area of pain. And with the white patch, I will try different areas as if you were walking it around a clock to see where, and often you put it on and 10 seconds, 15 seconds later, you get a response. You say, okay, that's almost nothing. Oh, that spot is much better. This spot is even better. And you just find the best areas to put the two patches in. When I do that, leave at least half of the backing on the patch so that you still have a good sticking power afterwards.
Good to know. Good to know. And, if you have got it on both sides, you can use 2 sets of the ice wave, or you can
Or
maybe even try the
could,
total body pain points too, right?
Yeah, you might try just going across, and you would put the tan on the left and the white on the right flank.
Yeah. Try, like Dr. Stewart says, experiment.
Experiment.
And leave half the adhesive backing on so you can play around with it and find the best spot for it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Or leave both sides on and just use a piece of tape to put it there.
Yep. Okay. Linda wants to know, do the patches work on emotional pain?
I think emotions are part of every pain. I don't know which one doesn't occur with emotion. But if you're talking about emotional pain as in grief and loss, that's not something that I would think X39 would be beneficial for. But where there is an emotional component of depression, anxiety, there are patches that can be helpful with those feelings, and it would be something to try.
Okay, really good. Thank you. Okay, I don't understand this next question from Simmons. What is the connection using X39 and Eon?
What is the connection?
That's what it says. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe just talk about it. Eon is two areas that I think of Eon primarily. One is as a very potent anti-inflammatory. And you have to think about inflammation in 2 ways. On the one hand, inflammation is how we heal, how we get rid of debris, necrotic tissue or damaged tissue, but also how we stimulate the healing process. So drugs that block inflammation block healing. If you have an arthritic knee and you take an NSAID, ibuprofen or one of those drugs, it actually blocks the necessary prostaglandins that are part of the healing process. So we use that same term, inflammation, in 2 ways. Be a little bit confusing, but the inflammation also gets stuck and can cause pain. So Eon is tremendously helpful in that aspect without any effect on blocking the healing process. So the Eon is tremendously anti-inflammatory. It also helps to balance the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic yin and yang of our nervous system, if you will, to help downregulate the sympathetic overdrive, that high intensity. X39 is a remarkable healing support that helps not only stimulate stem cells, but also stimulates multiple amino acids that are necessary for building and repair. It stimulates the production of neurotransmitters through tryptophan, more serotonin, so we get more calming and relaxing. there's just a whole host of things that it does, even repairing some of our impaired genes that are damaged by decades of aging as well as environmental toxicants.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, we have time for just a few more. Kathy wants to know what patch can help with recovery from a brain injury when recovery is going well, but still experiencing some weakness in an arm.
There is a brain recovery protocol, which I will typically use either ice wave or energy enhancers on the temples or on the back and front of the head, with Eon and Glutathione on the crown. And that with a hairy head, that's hard to keep on, but you could use a ski cap or something to help to keep it in place, and typically use them at night, so it's easier to keep it in place while you sleep.
Okay, great.
That's downloadable, the brain.
The brain balancing protocol you can find in either Live Younger products or liveyoungersuccess.com. And you can find it in both of those, where it shows you can put the patches in a hat, like Dr. Stewart said, a ball cap or a ski cap or whatever, or you can put it on your head. Some people use bobby pins to put it on their hair if they don't want to wear a hat. So there's lots of different creative ways to get it on, and people have had really exquisite results with it. Yeah.
I had a young lady who had fallen down the steps and injured her head and could not speak. She was preparing for a very important oral exam and couldn't get her words out. I told her, come on over to the house. I put these patches on her and she started talking. It was just remarkable, just crazy.
It's stunning, isn't it?
No,
is this really real?
When you say it truly is unbelievable, but that happened.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I think it's not the best way to keep it on.
Okay, good. Well, we got one more question, and it's from AN. Have you had an experience, and can you give advice for someone not young with significant loss of sight, particularly last 3 years, due to a degenerative condition common with age? We don't have all the patches in Australia yet that you have in the US. Thank you, Annabella.
I can never keep in my mind the eye protocol, so I'm going to ask you to discuss it.
Okay, I'd be happy to.
I always have to go to my notes, and I don't want to do that this morning.
Yeah, no. There's several different eye conditions, and a lot of people like to wear an eye mask and then put the patches either on the outside or the inside. And carnosine is actually made in the eye. And people, I wear it. I got one of those early diagnoses with that thing that kind of makes night driving difficult. And so I'm wearing a sleep mask every night with carnosine, one on each eye. There's another eye condition. I don't know how to explain the symptoms of it, where some people wear carnosine and glutathione and using the eye mask. And if you don't like the eye mask, you can actually put it on your temples. Right. So you can try either one.
If you're using carnosine and glutathione, is there a placement for carnosine and glutathione as far on the temples?
The temples or on the eye mask, right on top of the.
Doesn't matter which one goes where?
No, but you want to alternate so they both get both.
The carnosine is not the patches, but the carnosine supplement as eye drops. We have used experimentally, has been shown to clear cataracts.
Yeah, there's I don't know if anyone reads Life Extension magazine, but the issue that just came out this week, the cover story is on carnosine, and it does so many things for our brain, for our heart, for our eyes, for our muscles, for our torn tissues. It's kind of like we don't give it enough attention because it is amazing, and it is an antioxidant, and it is an anti-aging. It's part of the anti-aging trio, and it is pretty special. Yeah.
It also binds to aluminum, and people who are concerned with loss of brain function with aging, heavy metals, aluminum, mercury, lead, are involved with that. And this is one of those things that can help to pull that damaging aluminum out of the brain. Aluminum is very difficult to get out of body in general. Out of the brain is very difficult. And I think the carnosine patch may be very helpful in that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, this has been great. Well, thank you. Wonderful to be with you tonight. Yes, our championship soccer player. I love it. So we want to thank Dr. Stewart and want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. I want to thank Gregory for your great presentation as always. And if you are new and checking out Lifewave, please get back to the person that invited you and get started. There is no risk. We have a wonderful program for customers. If you're just getting this for yourself, if you're the kind of person that likes to share, I recommend you look into becoming a member or distributor. There's a wonderful compensation program for those that like to share. And the company's growing really fast. And we have exciting things happening right now that we'll be able to share next week. We're not going to have a call next week because we will be at the conference and doing a conference highlight call, but excited to be with you the following week. And I want to thank everyone for being with us tonight. So with that, we'll say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice talking to you.
You too. Thank you.